Nosotros en este cuarto día del Festival de Innovación al Sur del Sur, organizado por el Galpón Lab en colaboración con Corfo, la Universidad del Desarrollo y Red Hat. Muchas gracias por estar aquí. Hoy vamos a hablar de la cuarta revolución industrial. ¿Qué significa esto? A lo largo de nuestra historia han habido diversas invenciones que han cambiado nuestra forma de vivir. La máquina de vapor, la imprenta, el petróleo, el teléfono, todos nos hicieron dar saltos en nuestra forma de organización, de producción y de cómo vivíamos y entendíamos nuestra sociedad. Hoy estamos también frente a un nuevo cambio de paradigma entre las energías que van cambiando de su forma y las nuevas tecnologías que nos van acercando y acercando absolutamente a todo entre todos. El desafío entonces es cómo vamos a hacer converger todas estas nuevas cosas, los nuevos avances digitales, tecnológicos, biológicos, para crear y vivir en el mundo que soñamos. Para eso estamos hoy día con Vic Murty. Él es director de Business Innovation and Tech Strategy de la Universidad del Desarrollo, para que nos cuente en una charla magistral que él llama Humanos versus Tecnología, qué luces tenemos y cómo vamos a ocupar esto, cuáles son los desafíos que tenemos para lograr un mundo en donde la tecnología se use en el servicio y para construir el lugar que queremos. Muchas gracias, los dejo con el profesor Vic Murty y nos vemos al término y luego en los siguientes paneles del día que también están muy interesantes. Muchas gracias.
Hello, this is Professor Vic Murty. So happy that I have the time to be able to talk about some key changes within the marketplace and how you can embrace the change. So we know, or you know probably better than everyone else, that social networks have sort of changed the game of how we live. And Chile is no exception. As you can see over here on the right, Chile is within the top 1/3 of social network usage. Okay, and also social networks kind of come and go. On the left here, and this was made before the rise of TikTok, right? And some of the things to pay attention to on the left is that there's some things that are not very popular here, like Viber and WeChat. So the world of social networks is continually changing, but bringing the world together. One of the key trends that is happening over the next couple of years and has happened for the last few is the tremendous growth in the number of connected devices. We think that around 2020, this year, at the end of the year, there should be roughly 50 billion devices connected to the internet around the world. How many people live on the world? Somewhere between 7 and 8 billion, which means that everyone is carrying and connecting 6 or 7 devices. And this is going to continue to grow more and more rapidly as cars become part of the internet, as droids become part of the internet, as homes become part of the internet. And we call this sort of the Internet of Things. Okay. By the way, these are all experiences of my own from the last 2 years or so. This was in a shopping mall, and this was in Las Vegas, where or the droid was in a shopping mall. The car was in Las Vegas, and it's a self-driving car, taxi or Uber. You're starting to see connectivity and self-driving cars that are connected to the internet, etc. Okay. One of the biggest challenges that we have to embrace is that technology is moving far, far faster than laws can keep up with. Okay, there's a very famous set of Senate hearings with Mark Zuckerberg. There is Donald Trump meeting with the heads of Apple and Microsoft. And there's the head of Google, which is continually called in front of the government. But there's so many technologies that are capable today. This is a 3D printed gun. We have gun laws in every country in the world. Yet now anyone can get the plans for a 3D printed gun, print it at home, and boom. Privacy is becoming a greater and greater issue. Bitcoin, there's how do we protect consumers? How do we tax it? Okay, and then cloning. All right, so cloning today is possible for a dog. You know, dogs die after 15, 20 years, and so you can clone your pet. I think it's around 10 million pesos, plus or minus, maybe 20 million, in that range. But you can do that today. How long before we can start to clone humans? Okay. And some innovations that you, as interested, growing future professionals, should be looking at are artificial intelligence, drones, robotics, obviously, blockchain, 3D printing and digital fabrication, virtual reality, and all these various common things that are put together on this thing called the Internet of Things. But it's increasingly more difficult to figure out what it is we should do to regulate these things, like artificial intelligence, cybernetic augmented humans. Okay, do you allow them to go to the same colleges as regular students if they have a chip in their brain? I don't know. Okay, or are you allowed to say, if you're going to go to college, you must have this chip, this neural link placed in your brain? And these things are all going to be possible within the next 3, 4, 5 years. Self-driving cars have a whole set of new laws that we need to deal with if there's an accident. Okay, or if somebody hacks the car and it creates all vehicles to run left at the same time. And do we allow for cloning of humans if we allow for the cloning of pets? And if so, what rights do the clones have? This is extremely complicated, and we need you to lead the charge in the future in answering these really interesting and impactful questions. Okay? There are a variety of mega shifts happening, and we develop technology to be more efficient, but then it'll, boom, create an impact and completely change everything. So we often think about what is evolutionary, little tiny changes, versus boom, revolutionary. And these are some significantly revolutionary shifts. Digitization, things turning digital from physical. Mobilization, we use mobile phones to consume content. We use it to get vehicles. Disintermediation, which is to take out the middle pieces of a process. Today, I can use Uber to get food. I don't need to call a delivery service to get my pizza. Transformation. Technology is making us act and behave differently. Intelligization. We have Google DeepMind and IBM Watson and Microsoft and Google, and all of these companies are working on what it means to be truly artificially intelligent versus naturally intelligent. There's automation. How do we do things continually and repetitively in a automatic way? Virtualization, and you're a generation that will never see physical CDs or DVDs or ways of getting your content. There's anticipation, right, or anxiety, depending on how you look at this. And finally, robotization, which is a form of automation, but with more flexibility to do things. And all these mega shifts affect each other, right? And they feed off of each other, and they create this world of the future. And the interesting thing, another trend, is that that individual people are highly empowered, and there is a trend towards citizen science, where you can join NASA to analyze data from telescopes. Okay, citizen science allows us to track things like foliage and fauna and how it's changing due to global warming. Okay, so this concept of the wisdom of society and how we can use everybody's contribution, not just the ones that have studied for 20 and 30 years. Okay. A challenge is privacy and security. Privacy, we believe as citizens, that it's a human right. Is it a civil liberty? We don't know, right? These are brand new concerns, this kind of privacy. And so we have to make and weigh privacy versus social security. And you can see that Chile, the United States, Europe, we're not the leaders in all of this. When it comes to, for example, coronavirus, many technologies have been implemented to track the movements of people in China and in East Asia in general that you don't see used in the Western worlds, mainly because there's a difference in rights. You see drones being used to police people from being out in public. You see QR codes, which allow you to go into certain places based on how long it's been since you got your coronavirus test. You see robotized medics that check to see randomly what your body temperature is. You see thermographics when you go from one public place to another to see how hot your body is as you walk through. This is a very different world, China, in the sense of this balance between public protection and personal privacy. But we live in interesting times. There is a cosmic calamity, a problem that happens in society every couple of minutes, it seems like. The earth is burning. The world is getting warmer. The people need more rights. My privacy is being violated. Coronavirus is everywhere. Okay, we're interconnected in a way that amplifies through technology some of the anxiety that we feel, and we affect each other in vastly new ways that is causing this massive sort of change within society through these platforms. And coronavirus isn't helping. And so governments either don't know what to do during these calamities or these crises, or they do too many things like China was doing and sort of take our rights away. So these platforms, they are changing the game completely. Last year, Amazon, Apple, Google, Samsung, Facebook, AT&T, Microsoft, Verizon, Walmart, and this Chinese bank, they're all forms of platforms. Or they, in the case of Samsung, they interact with all of these other platforms. Okay? The largest companies by brand value are turning out to be platforms. Okay, and this changes so rapidly. If you looked 10 years ago, this list was vastly different. 20 years ago, probably none of these were on this list. 50 years ago, and it was probably unrecognizable, like an alien planet. Okay, so how do we prepare you? So at UDD, we've studied a lot of different companies, both global as well as here in Chile. And we found a variety of different skills that we have here that are super important, like managing complex projects, to being familiar with technology, and communication of technology and innovation is getting so important with all this fake news and understanding. You probably heard that 5G is going to cause cancer and that coronavirus vaccines have little tiny nanochips in them to track everyone, et cetera, et cetera. Okay? And some things are true, some things are not true. So how do you communicate in a very clear way the various technologies that you're going to dedicate your life to learning because it's changing so quickly, and how do you work with different kinds of people to manage very complex things? This is what the jobs of the future look like. Thank you. It's been my pleasure. Have a wonderful time with Javi, and I look forward to hopefully meeting with you one day. I'm Vic Murdy, Director of Technology Strategy for UDD. Welcome to our seminar of the fight of human versus technology. We're here to prepare you for the changes of the now.